Hello everyone, if you have your own paranormal experiences you'd like to share, please send them to our channel. Remember, we're not looking for fiction, but real accounts of unexplained events. Stay safe out there, and remember, not all ghosts are scary. Some just need help finding their way home. I was 19 when I first saw him. At 19, you feel untouchable. You tell yourself the scary stories, the ghost tales, the urban legends, they're for fun. For kids. For people who want to be scared. Not you. Not in your life. But looking back, that was the first mistake. When Jamie and I moved into that apartment, we thought we were getting lucky. It was small, sure, but cheap. And at 19, that's all that matters. A place of our own, away from parents, away from dorm rules. A chance to feel independent. The apartment sat above an old barber shop. From the outside, it looked like the kind of place that had been standing for nearly 100 years. Faded brick, paint peeling from the window frames, the kind of staircase that groaned in protest with every step. Inside wasn't much better. The floors were warped and creaked wherever you walked. The walls carried strange stains, like water damage that no amount of paint could cover. There was a permanent, stale smell of smoke, like decades of cigarettes had sunk into the wood itself. But it was ours. We joked about how haunted it felt. The long, narrow hallway that seemed too dark at night. The bathroom light that flickered on its own. The way the front door would rattle in the wind even when locked. Jamie even said, half laughing, "Watch, we'll probably end up with a ghost roommate." At the time, I laughed. But within the first month, we stopped joking. The first strange thing was the footsteps. Always late at night. Always after midnight, when the whole building was silent. At first, I thought it was the neighbors downstairs. Heavy, slow steps that started at one end of the hallway and traveled across to the other. Not quick movements, not random creaks. Measured. Deliberate. Like someone walking slowly, carefully, right outside my bedroom door. I'd sit up in bed, heart pounding, waiting for the sound to stop. And it always did. Right at my door. But when I'd fling it open, the hallway was empty. Just the faint glow of the streetlight through the window blinds, painting long, pale rectangles on the floor. When I told Jamie, she admitted she'd heard it too. Sometimes she said it sounded like the steps stopped at her door. We tried to laugh it off. Old building. Pipes. Settling wood. But we knew better. Soon after, the whispers started. I'd lie in bed at night and hear it faintly, like two people having a hushed conversation in the next room. The voices were low, urgent, like arguing but too soft to make out. The first night it happened, I actually got out of bed and checked every room, convinced Jamie had left the TV on. But the apartment was silent. Jamie was asleep. Other nights, the whispers would follow me. I'd be in the kitchen, and I'd hear them behind me, almost in my ear, only to vanish when I turned around. It wasn't just me. Jamie confessed she'd been hearing them too. She said one night she even heard her own name whispered, so close she thought someone was leaning over her. Her hands were shaking when she told me that. The first time I saw him was maybe 3 weeks in. I woke up around 2 in the morning, thirsty. I shuffled out of my room, half asleep, into the hallway. And that's when I froze. At the far end of the hall, just outside Jamie's door, stood the figure of a man. Tall. Broad shoulders. Completely still. "Jamie?" I whispered. No response. I stared at him for what felt like minutes, my throat dry, my whole body rigid. Finally, I reached out and flipped the hallway light switch. The bulb flickered to life. And the hallway was empty. I didn't sleep the rest of that night. When I told Jamie the next day, I expected her to laugh at me. But she didn't. She went pale and admitted she'd been experiencing things too. She said she often woke up in the night with the feeling of someone in her room. Not just standing there, on her bed. The weight of a body pressing into the mattress. One time, she swore she felt cold fingers brush against her arm. Another night, she woke up and saw a shape standing at the foot of her bed. She blinked, and it was gone. She started dreading bedtime, staying up later and later just to avoid falling asleep. She looked exhausted all the time. I tried to reassure her. Told her maybe it was just sleep paralysis. Just nightmares. But in my gut, I knew better. By mid-October, the activity escalated. Doors would slam shut when we were alone. Cabinets we never touched would be wide open in the morning. Objects moved. I once found my keys in the freezer. Jamie found her necklace hanging from the shower curtain rod. And the feeling of being watched never went away. It clung to us constantly, especially at night. I started having dreams, always the same. I was lying in bed, paralyzed, while a tall man stood in the doorway. Just standing. Watching. Waiting. I'd wake up gasping, drenched in sweat, convinced he was still there. The worst night came in late October. Jamie was staying at her boyfriend's place, so I was alone. I worked late and didn't get home until nearly midnight. Exhausted, I locked the door, dropped my bag on the couch, and collapsed in front of the TV. I must have fallen asleep, because when I opened my eyes, the clock on the wall read 3:12 a.m. And that's when I heard it. Footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Coming from the kitchen. Each one closer. Closer. Until they stopped. Right behind the couch where I was lying. The air went cold, so cold I could see my breath. The pressure was suffocating, like the room itself was holding me down. I couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. Couldn't scream. And then, in the reflection of the blank TV screen, I saw him. A man. But not human. Skin pale, almost gray. Hollow, sunken eyes like endless pits. And his mouth stretched too wide, twisting into a grin that didn't belong on a human face. He leaned closer, closer, until his face was inches from mine. That grin burned into my mind. And then, he was gone. The weight lifted. The air warmed. But I knew, I hadn't imagined it. The next morning, I told Jamie everything. She didn't laugh. She didn't even speak at first. She just stared at me, pale, trembling. Finally, she whispered, "I've seen him too." The same man. The same grin. Standing in her doorway at night. Watching. That was it. We broke the lease. We packed up and left within weeks, not caring about penalties or deposits. But leaving didn't fix it. It's been years since that apartment. Different cities, different homes. But sometimes, I still wake up at 3:12 a.m. Sometimes I'll catch a glimpse of movement in the corner of a dark room. Sometimes I'll see that grin reflected faintly in the black of the TV screen, or in the glass of a window at night. Always watching. Always waiting. The man in the doorway never really left. Hey everyone, thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like and subscribe button, and then share it with your friends. Your support helps us grow and create even more awesome content. We appreciate you being part of the journey.